almost live from the Herbert I. Greenberg Studios at WHIG. It's Up Late with Sam Bass.
Thank you, Scott Smith. Good evening and welcome to Up Late with Sam Bass. As always, I want to take a moment to thank our great sponsor, Metro Maintenance. You know, we like to always highlight a member of their team. Tonight, we're going to highlight Mr. Ronnie Peed. He is the HVAC and electrical licensed guy, so if you got problems with your AC or your heat or your electrical issues at home, Ronnie's your guy. He's been with Metro for over 30 years. Super nice guy, very knowledgeable, great with customers. So reach out to him if you need Metro for anything. Also, remember to subscribe to our YouTube channel. We do a lot of fun things on this show you don't want to miss out. You can always catch it on YouTube, so make sure you get in there and subscribe. As you know, we're not a political show. This is a feel-good show, as my good friend John Chet calls us so graciously, feel-good show. I like that. But we're going to make an exception tonight. We have a politician on our program tonight. That's right, a politician. You've probably heard of him. You've seen his signs around here. He is a combat veteran. That's huge in my mind. And he's a member of the North Carolina House of Representatives. And we are very proud to have him right here on the show. Ladies and gentlemen, in person tonight, we will have Representative Alan Chesser right here in the studio. So the campaign season is heating up, and we're on countdown to Election Day. I want to do a little countdown on my own. I want to count down the top 5 things that people find most annoying about political campaigns. There's more than 5, but I'm going to give you the top 5. Number 5, lack of meaningful dialogue. You know, a lot of politicians spend their time name calling and hyping up things. They don't really want to talk about the issues. On this show, however, we've had full-blown conversations about aliens, banana hammocks. What kind of animal would you be if you'd like to be one? You know, really, lots of really meaningful stuff. Number 4. This is similar, hyped up claims. You know, things like, I did this, or so-and-so did that. These come from both sides of the aisle, folks. It's hard to know what to believe anymore. That's why when we do have politicians on the show, I try to ask the hard-hitting questions to get to the truth. Like the time we had Labor Commissioner Josh Dobson on here, I wanted to find out why this man had never eaten a salad. You know, inquiring minds want to know. We had Councilman T.J. Walker, super guy on here. Played a really cool game of true or false with him. Hard-hitting stuff. So you need to go back to our YouTube channel and watch those episodes to see what really happened. Wait a minute, did Alan leave? Oh, he's still here. I thought we ran him off with that. So moving on. Look out, Jamie. Number 3, flip-flopping. I hate it. It happens a lot. So that would be like me suddenly starting to want to play pickleball. Not gonna happen. What? Number 2, robocalls and texts. I got one the other day that I'm not exactly sure how I got on this call list. It was supposedly from Kim Jong-un, North Korea. Little Rocket Man, as Trump used to call him. Here's how it went. Hello, this is Kim Jong-un, the Supreme Leader of North Korea. I'm calling you today to offer you a once-in-a-lifetime opportunity to join my glorious nation as we witness the greatness of our social paradise, and as you visit the most powerful and prosperous nation on earth. All you have to do is press 1 to accept my gracious offer, or press 2 to decline and face the wrath of my nuclear missiles. So I did this, I waited 10 seconds and nothing happened. So Little Rocket Man, keep your rockets to yourself. Number 1, the number 1 thing people find most annoying about political campaigns: negativity and attack ads. That's all we see, folks. That would be like if, I were to insult another Whig host. something like a claim that they put their viewers to sleep. Like I said earlier, folks, this is a feel-good show. I would never engage in any kind of negative activity like that. I promise you, I would not do it. That's so funny. What are y'all talking about? Why is everybody laughing? So before I bring up my next guest, I want to take a moment to read a short email that we received. And don't forget to email us, folks. I think Robbie's going to put up the addresses. We want to hear from you. So let me see here it is. It says a short email, it's kind of long, but it says here from the Donald at truthsocial.com. Could it be? Dear loser, sounds like him. I'm writing you to express my extreme disgust at your pathetic attempts to mock me on your sorry excuse for a late night show. You are not funny, you are not smart, and you are not talented. I kind of feel like Rosie O'Donnell here. He hasn't called me a pig yet, but I'm still getting into it here. You are a low-rated, low IQ clown who is jealous of my tremendous success and popularity. A little bit. And that's probably why you drink so much. No doubt. You should be ashamed of yourself for being a part of the loser media and your loser set that you think is so cool. Well, what's the deal with, my set is cool. It's not even Rocky Mount, wherever the hell that is. You're a pathetic, boring little man. Let me stop you right there. Ever since I was a little boy, I've never been little. So I'll stop you there. A little man who is obviously obsessed with me. Frankly, it's embarrassing. Normally, I wouldn't bother wasting my precious time on someone as insignificant as you, but I got to set the record straight. First off, let me say this. I've seen better jokes written on the back of a cocktail napkin. Who the hell are your writers anyway? Third graders? Jamie, that was a shot at you, I think. Your attempts at humor are about as weak as your ratings, and that's saying something. Now, I'm a big believer in free speech, even if it's a little slurred like yours. So go ahead and keep making your pathetic little wisecracks, but remember, while you're busy spreading fake news, I'm out here making America great again. Well, damn it, I'm doing the same thing with this show. We're making America great. We're making Rocky Mount great. Also, I have more hair than you. So keep on laughing because the joke's on you. One more thing. I'm going to build the hugest pickleball court in the world and put your name on it. Just remember, you asked for it. That is low, folks. Sincerely, Donald J. Trump. Wow. That was harsh. I don't remember even picking on him that much, but I know he's a little sensitive. I like him. I hope Biden doesn't, well, who am I fooling? He's not watching. He's in bed already. If he wrote the email, it would probably be in the Wingdings font and something totally ridiculous that nobody would ever figure out what he was saying. So, just like a lot of emails I get. Sit tight, we'll be right back with Alan Chester.
Metro Maintenance has provided fast, reliable services in Nash, Edgecombe, and Halifax counties for over 35 years. Metro Maintenance offers services for residential, commercial, and institutional facilities. These services include heating and cooling, electrical, plumbing, and general repairs. Our numerous years of experience, knowledge, and resources help us to accomplish our mission of serving our customers with superior service achieved through integrity and hard work. All of our work is guaranteed. For service, call 252-977-2730 or find us on the web at metro-maintenance.com.
Welcome back. We're here with my special guest, North Carolina Representative Alan Chester. Alan, thank you so much for coming, man. Good to see you.
Thanks for having me. Great to see you as well.
You know, my staff found out that you went into the military at the age of 17.
I did, yes sir. I had to get my mom to sign a paper, a waiver, so that I could join at 17 years old.
So were you Army?
Army National Guard.
Okay. You did serve in Iraq.
I did, yes sir.
Okay, so I have a lot of respect for anybody military. My dad was a career Marine, so I was a military brat growing up. I kind of know the lifestyle, even though I wasn't one, but appreciate your service.
Thank you. My pleasure.
But after you got out of the Army or the National Guard, you became a police officer for a while?
did.
Is that correct?
Yeah,
Tell me
first in the town of Nags Head. So, of course, being overseas for 11 months in a desert, you miss the water. And so I decided when I made it back, I would move to the beach. So we moved there, became a police officer in Nags Head, and then later transferred to the city of Raleigh.
Well, that's a great place, Nags Head. So, I mean, if you're going to work somewhere, that's a good place to work. But I'm sure you already had plenty of sand in the Middle East. You didn't need more down there.
Did.
So now you're married, you got a family. What is your favorite thing to do together as a family?
We just do a lot of hanging out. We cook a lot at home and just hang out on the back porch and just spend time together. We've got a little farm homestead out there, and
really?
we just hang out.
That's being at home is a great thing.
Yep.
I can really attest to that. And also, we found out that you guys founded a soccer league. Tell me a little about that.
Yeah, we did. So soccer is actually the venue through which I got saved. Our current pastor, we coached his kids in soccer. And so it became this mission field for us. And so through our church, we sit on 33 acres. And we had talked about it for a while, and then we finally got the blessing of the church to start a league. And then I got crazy and decided I wanted to make it free. Instead of charging people to play, we were going to make it free, and I was going to go out and fundraise the funds from the community and not have to turn any kids away.
Wow.
Because if it's a real mission opportunity to bring people to know Christ, I don't want money to get in the way of that.
Very good.
So the church was gracious enough to stick with the crazy plan and let me do that.
Well, you also had another foundation, a nonprofit called the Ada Jane Foundation. Tell me about that one.
Yeah, that one's a little more personal. I always hesitate to talk about it publicly, but it's there and it exists, so I will. In 2020, my wife and I lost our sixth child. She was pregnant during COVID, and our daughter passed due to a congenital heart defect. And so through that, while we were experiencing tragedy in the hospital, we were also faced with some end-of-life costs. And it's something that you don't really think about when you're going through that stuff, or when you hear about it. Not only are you losing a child, but now you have to figure out how you're going to pay for the end-of-life costs, funeral costs, cremation.
It's got to be a nightmare.
And it was just kind of in that moment, God put it on my heart that we were blessed the way we were in a position where we could pay for that, we could afford it. But immediately I was aware that there have got to be families out there that when they get that news, they're not prepared. They're already in an overwhelming situation, and now they're going to get hit with a financial burden on top of that. So originally, the organization was founded as a way to alleviate the financial burden.
Wow,
that
is a great cause.
Thank you.
There's another thing you sponsored. There's a bill called the Loving Homes Act that Governor Cooper recently signed into law.
He did.
So tell me about that.
So
you're doing too much stuff, but go ahead.
Yeah, I was a little surprised by that. I thought it was a good idea. My wife really thought it was a good idea. It was actually originally her idea. Again, it connects back to the loss of our daughter. And so my wife and I looked into foster care after that and found out that in the administrative code, there is an arbitrary number, and it happens to be 5, which we have 5 biological children. And if you have 5 biological children, you're automatically disqualified from the foster care system. Doesn't matter, your quality of life that you can provide or anything. DHHS doesn't even evaluate you to see if you're fit to be a host family. It's one of the first questions I'll ask you on the phone is how many kids are in the house. So what this bill does is it makes that to where it's not an automatic disqualifier. And if DHHS does their due diligence and finds that you would be a qualifying host family for a foster child, then you can host a limit of 1 foster child or a sibling pairing to keep siblings together, because we know that has better life outcomes than separating siblings.
Right. That's great. So you mentioned earlier that you've got a farm.
Yeah, a little homestead. It's nothing crazy, but it's more like a petting zoo, I think.
So, I mean, is it just animals or crops or tomatoes?
So we have a small garden, but it's mainly animals. We have pigs, chickens, turkeys, sheep, goats. We just sold our rabbits, so we don't have rabbits anymore. and I'm probably missing something there. But yeah, we've got a little assortment of animals.
But so this question I'm asking now is probably the wrong question. It's terrible timing. That's guilty. We just talked about all those cute animals, but I also hear you like to cook.
I do. Yeah.
So what's your specialty dish? Lamb chops? I'm just kidding.
No, actually, my wife won't eat them. That's why we have glorified pets around the house.
I can see that.
I don't know. I would say that I make a mean steak. I like to reverse sear steak. Don't know if you've ever had that.
I've heard of it. I hadn't done it.
I'd come by the house one day and we'll set it up for you.
I'll be there.
My wife's favorite thing that I make is probably just cheeseburgers. And so I reverse sear those too, by the way. If you've never had it, it's you smoke it first and then you sear it afterwards. It's amazing.
I bet that is
It's life-changing.
So you served on a number of different leadership positions. Is there one that you feel particularly proud of, or one that you feel that you've accomplished a lot more while doing it?
Are you talking about political?
Political.
Or personal?
Either.
So personally, it's probably being the director of the soccer league. We've got to watch that grow from the first year, about 65 kids, to now we're hovering, getting closer to 300 kids a year that participate in this league. And again, it's all free, and every Saturday they're just getting, well, I'd like to say they're getting hit right in the forehead with the gospel, but some people don't like that analogy.
A soccer ball or the gospel,
That's
one of the two, right? Well, that's really cool. How about on the political side of that?
On the political side, one of my favorite things, one of the favorite committees I sit on is House Oversight and Reform. And so it is the committee where we hold state government to account to the people and to the promise that was made to the people. And so we have subpoena power, we have all kinds of fun little tricks up our sleeves.
Good.
And we've had insurance commissioner, we've had DMV, we've had the governor's office and legal staff up before us. I mean, so we really get into the nuts and bolts of how the government works and holding it accountable to the people.
So I read somewhere that you secured over $55 million in funds for Nash County, which was a record-setting amount for funding for our community. Tell me about that.
Yeah, so that was the budget appropriations this year. First thing I always preface is it's always a team effort. No one does anything at the General Assembly alone. So I'm but one vote. So I'm fortunate to have good partners in my chamber, but also in our partner chamber. They would say they're the senior chamber, which is the Senate, but I say, they're not all that old, so you don't have to call them seniors. But yeah, so Lisa's helped out with that, and it was, from my understanding, it is the most that Nash County's ever seen, and I'm just, proud of the effort that we were able to put in and the result that we got.
Well, I'm all about record setting. I actually set a record in this studio for consuming the most bourbon, so.
No.
I'm just kidding. So, that is true, by the way. No, it's not. All right, so I'm going to read a Facebook post from July of 22, okay? You posted on Facebook, if I can see this. The economy is so bad and supply chain so inconsistent that recently my local Bojangles ran out of Supremes for nearly a week, and Dairy Queen ran out of ice cream twice. Now, unemployment is on the rise. This is not sustainable. We owe it to our people to do better. How do you feel the economy compares now to back then?
Well, so obviously I think that was kind of in the midst of, I remember the trigger point for that particular post is I went through the Dairy Queen right here next to the mall, and I went through the drive-through and they said, I'm sorry, sir, we're out of ice cream. And my response
They're
was,
Dairy Queen, right?
Why are you open? Like, no one comes to Dairy Queen for anything but ice cream.
Right.
I didn't even know they had cheeseburgers. So I think we're doing better with product supply. The cost of everything's going up, but workforce is down, so now the service suffers. So instead of not having ice cream when you go through the drive-thru, you might have to wait 5 minutes to find somebody to come get your ice cream for you. And instead of it being $2.99, it's $4.99.
Or if you go to McDonald's, the ice cream machine is broken.
It's always broken.
Okay. So in the green room earlier, you were telling me that while you were in Iraq, you suffered some second-degree burns.
Yeah.
Tell me a little about that story. What happened?
Yeah, I always like to begin this story at the end, right? Tarantino it, right?
Yeah, I like that.
So, yeah, I ended up with second-degree burns on my face and my neck. And I tell people all the time, war is hell. And then you tell this story. And so I was on a recovery QRF team, which meant We could go anywhere north of Baghdad in the entire country on a moment's notice. We had less than 2 minutes to get to the gate to be ready to go out on a mission. And so this was one of those times, and we had been out of the wire, which is the safety perimeter at the base, for God knows, the total mission was 76 hours, but we came back one time in that break. So it was probably about 35 to 40 hours that we had been out straight. No sleep, no rest, doing a recovery mission, which meant that we were going out to recover American assets that had been disabled or blown up outside the wire.
Wow.
And so we come back, and I think I'm 20 at the time. I don't think I turned 21. I turned 21 in a dry country in Iraq. That was fun. And so I think I was 20 at the time. It was the beginning of the summer. And so we pull up on this Air Force base, and they have a coffee beans like restaurant. There's a coffee shop on base, and we're worn out. We're tired. And so I don't drink coffee. So my sergeant goes in and gets everybody something. He's like, "What do you want?" And I'm in the turret because I'm a gunner. And I said, "Well, just get me hot chocolate or whatever they have." And so sure enough, he comes back and he hands it up to me. He's like, "Careful, it's hot. You know, they just made it." And as we're rolling out, I go to tip that thing back, and we hit a speed bump, and I crushed the whole cup, and it just poured out all over my face and down my chest. And that, sir, is how in Iraq I got second-degree burns on my face and my neck. And the cool part was they gave me this zinc oxide cream ointment to put on it. And over there, you don't get to shower every day.
Right.
So when you layer that stuff on, it turned my whole jawline and neck silver. It almost looked like I was a part cyborg. It was
Did you get a Purple Heart for it?
No. So unfortunately, speed bumps are not considered enemy combatants.
Right. Okay.
And
they can be, but
yeah, it was more of a self-inflicted wound.
yeah.
Turns
Okay.
out.
Well, I'm glad you got over that.
Yeah.
So you're a Duke basketball fan.
I am. I have no idea where that originated from, except I have been one for as long as I can remember as a child. And so that tradition has just continued for me. My wife is a UNC fan.
Oh, God.
So ACC
Bless her
tournament
heart.
time gets real interesting in my house.
Well, March Madness is coming up.
Yep.
And it's going to get crazier and crazier. I know basketball is really not the same as it was because of the whole transfer portal and all the stuff they do now. But it still gets pretty hot between what we used to call the Big Four. Mm-hmm. So we're trying to secure a special guest for March Madness, to be named. Sit tight. So anyway, we'll see what happens. So last question. As I said earlier, it's not a political show. It might look like one with you sitting here, but it's not. But I'm going to give you an opportunity to name the #1 issue facing us locally in the Nash County area, and that you feel most important as we head toward the upcoming election.
Oh, that'd be a tough one. It's 100% easily, it's the economy. People are worried about price inflation, as we talked about, and jobs. Mm-hmm. And you as a member of the chamber understand that,
right.
The importance of jobs and product production. The unfortunate side effect here is that there's no simple solution in sight. Economic growth is a complicated cookie, for lack of a better term.
Right.
And so I think it is the economy, and it's going to remain the economy for the foreseeable future.
Right. And it's got to get better because they just can't make enough money to live these days. So Alan, thank you so much for coming on, man. I really appreciate it. You're a great guy.
Thank you.
I always enjoy seeing you. Thanks a lot.
Appreciate you. Thank you, sir.
I want to thank my special guest tonight, North Carolina Representative Alan Chesser, for joining us. He's a great guy doing great things in the community. Hey folks, don't forget, every Thursday night at 10 o'clock, right out here on WHIG, Up Late with Sam Bass. Next week, we've got another special guest, Brent Lubbock from Sylvan Heights Bird Park over in Scotland Neck. He will be here on site with birds. So make sure you tune in. We'll see you soon.